Hi, and welcome to the ColorWorkYarn podcast. My name is Allison. If this is your first time watching the podcast, thank you so much for checking it out. And if you are an old viewer, thank you so much for returning. This podcast is about knitting and crafting and hand-dyed yarns and other general chatter about my life. So I do hope you enjoy. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as ColorWorkYarn. And I also have a Ravelry group called ColorWorkYarn Podcast, where you'll find the show notes for the episodes, as well as discussions about any CALs, knit-alongs that are happening, and just general things about the podcast. So I encourage you to check that out and join the group. So we'll just dive right into it. We'll start with FOs. And I have none. So I haven't finished anything yet this week, or since the last podcast. I kind of started doing larger projects, so I haven't finished anything. So we'll dive into works in progress, WIPs. And the first one I have to show you, you've already seen. It's the Waiting for Rain shawl by Sylvia McFadden. And this is on, or knit with hedgehog fibers in the sage colorway. So I'll show you where I'm at here. It's kind of hard to show. I do have it on larger needles, but as with any crescent shaped shawl, you're kind of knitting from the top to the bottom. So I don't know exactly which way to show you here. So this is the top of the shawl. I do have these lace inserts. I have 3. So the Progress Keeper here that you see, from the Progress Keeper down is what I did in the past 2 weeks. So we're getting quite long rows here. I've got another lace insert here. Lace looks terrible until you block it, so you'll have to kind of use your imagination. I've got that one, and then there are 2 on this side, and they're the same lace pattern, but I'll just kind of show you each of them spread out. So trying to get you a good, there you go. It's kind of the pattern there. So yeah, as with any crescent shaped shawl, you start from the center and the top with very few stitches, and then increase quickly. So the rows become quite long. It's hard to show you the entire length there, but they become quite long, and then it's the lace inserts that add depth to the crescent shape. So I have made this once before in 2 different colors. So this time I'm making it in just the solid colorway, and I think it's going to be really beautiful. The color, you know, it's kind of a tealy color, a tealy blue. So Waiting for Rain, water, you're catching on. I'm really enjoying this. I don't generally love to knit things again. I like to knit a project, I love it, and then that's it. But this time I decided to try this again, and I'm really enjoying it. I've noticed that this time I'm better at the lace sections. The first time I did this shawl, I decided to tackle a lace section after having a couple of glasses of wine, and I was also on a moving train. So needless to say, I had to rip back that lace section and try that again. This time I have not had that experience yet. I have each lace section has ended up looking like it's supposed to, so I would call that a win. So that's exciting. Next, I do have a hat project. This is for a Christmas gift. My sister, Megan, is one of the few people I know that thinks she can request her Christmas gift. So generally I do meet her requests, and this is one of her requests. She wants a hat. and I'll just show you kind of what I have here, this patterning. So it's kind of an interrupted rib stitch. So you, actually I'll tell you what pattern I used was the Business Class Cowl by, let's see, Kelly Sloan. And obviously this isn't a cowl, but I have made that pattern before in the cowl, and it's a beautiful pattern. I gave that to my brother-in-law. It was a really, really beautiful cowl. I love it. I recommend the pattern. But my sister asked if it was possible to use that pattern as a hat. Well, I told her for a very high price it would be possible. So I've kind of figured out the stitch count that's needed. This is a fingering weight yarn, so it's kind of a higher stitch count for a hat with using fingering weight, of course. So I'm kind of just hoping for the best here. This may be very good podcast material next time. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, she wants a beanie shape. She has a smaller head than I do, so it's challenging to make hats for her sometimes, but so she wants a beanie shape with a pom-pom. So I'm gonna continue on for about probably another inch before I start decreasing, and then finish off with a pom-pom. I am probably going to use a DK weight to make the pom-pom with, and I'll explain why. This is my hand-dyed yarn in the Peter colorway, and as I said, it's fingering weight, and it's also single ply. So in my experience, I guess I've never tried to make a pom-pom with single ply yarn. I just imagine it not being that successful, because usually when I make poms, I like to kind of brush out the plies a little bit to get a little bit of a bushier pom-pom, and that wouldn't obviously be possible with a single ply yarn. So I don't know, I'm gonna try it out with a DK weight and see if it looks strange. I don't know if the proportions will be off with a DK weight pom-pom, or if you'll even really be able to tell. So we'll see. Probably by next podcast this project will be finished, so, or it'll go terribly wrong and it won't be finished, but fingers crossed it will go right, and I'll have more information about the DK weight pom. So if you have any experience with pom-poms, I'd love to hear about it. I don't know, I don't make a whole lot of pom-poms, so I wouldn't necessarily call myself an expert, but I also feel like they're probably kind of foolproof, so fingers crossed it'll all go well. So yeah, that's my progress with that. I used a normal long tail cast on the bottom, and then it is a interrupted rib, so I didn't do any sort of brim. I just went straight into the pattern. So I don't know, feeling very crazy. That'll be a Christmas gift. And while I'm speaking about that, I can talk about the knit along that's in progress. We have a knit along going on in the Ravelry group and on Instagram, and the hashtag is CW Christmas Cowl, so Colorwork Christmas Cowl. Cowl, not cowl. And there will be a prize. So the knit along is going until October 31st, and the reason that is because I'd like to encourage you to get a head start on Christmas knitting, so that then you can just knit for yourself or have more time to knit for all of your loved ones by getting a head start here. So join the group on Ravelry. There's a thread open. You can post about your progress and post pictures of your finished objects, and then I'll be picking a winner when the knit along is over, and the winner will get a skein of my hand-dyed yarn in the new 2017 Christmas colorway that has not been shown. Ooh, very exciting. So yeah, join that knit along and get chatty. It'll be very exciting. Next, I have another gift here. This is another Christmas gift. I I showed the other sock, so this I gotta start on the second sock. I know, extremely impressive. I'll show you again what the first sock looks like because it is kind of a cool yarn. So this is the yarn here. It's Cascade Heritage. I think it's called Cascade Heritage Print, and it's color number 38. So this is what that looks like. It's a self-striping yarn, and so it makes your sock look way more impressive than it is. So this is all yarn, obviously. So I haven't done any Fair Isle stitches or anything like that. This is all the printed yarn on there. So that will be a nice present, and I have gotten started on the second one, the little mustache. So yeah, that's that. I used a 1x1 twisted rib at the top, and then it goes down into the color. I'm not worrying about making these sock twins by any means. They are sock cousins. They will be the same colors, but not the same starting points. It's just not in my nature to worry about that. So hopefully the person getting these will also not worry about that. Maybe they will. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. So there is the progress on that. Those are my main whips this week. Actually, they're my only whips this week. So that is that. Very exciting, very exciting. I am knitting those on a 9-inch circular needle. So I've kind of tried many different techniques with socks. I've tried magic loop, which is, you know, fine. I do find it a bit fiddly with the extra room on the needle cable. It's just not really my cup of tea. And double pointed needles are also fine, but I do find that sometimes I get a little bit of laddering with double pointed needles. So I've had the most luck with 9-inch circulars. I will say it was a bit of an adjustment gripping such small needles, such a small circular needle. It is a bit of adjustment for the hands. So if you've never tried it, that's just kind of something to keep in mind, that as you continue to try it, it does get a little bit easier. I did have to kind of readjust the way I hold needles. So I'll kind of show you. I normally grip the entire needle with all of my fingers on the right hand, kind of like this, but I find that when I'm knitting with these small needles, I tuck my pinky onto the other side, both pinkies actually. For whatever reason, that seems more comfortable for me, so that I'm kind of gripping with the first 3 fingers, and this back pinky is just kind of a leverage point. I do knit continental, and for my sister that doesn't know what that means, I hold the yarn in my left hand. And I've been kind of using this project as a time to practice Norwegian purling, which if you're a continental knitter, it's kind of a useful skill because you're able to keep the yarn in the back as you're purling. There are some tutorial videos on YouTube. I used the Very Pink Knits tutorial on Norwegian purling just because I was curious to try it. I did not do the Norwegian purling on my first sock, and then I did on the second sock because I am a rule breaker. But it seems like, because I'm only doing it on the cuff because there's no other purling, so it seems like it hasn't really affected my gauge much. But don't do that. Never try a new skill in the middle of a project unless you are feeling daring. So yeah, that's that about my whips. Next, I'll go into some acquisitions. So I spoke about, last week, or 2 weeks ago, I spoke about my husband being in Iceland and my selfish request of him bringing me back yarn. Well, he has not disappointed. He was very sweet and found a yarn store in Reykjavik and stopped in. Apparently the woman spoke no English, which was even better because I don't think my husband would have spoken to her much had she spoken English, so it was great. But he got me 3 different kinds of yarn, and I'll butcher the names here for you, but I'll probably just print them on the screen as well to avoid confusion. The first one here is this beautiful mauve. It looks like very berry in this picture in the video, but it's a little bit more mauve than that. And I love it. It's a lace weight, and let's see. I don't know. There are too many consonants. I cannot pronounce this. I cannot pronounce it, but I do see that it is Icelandic lamb's wool, so that's very exciting. My husband was very proud of the fact that he got some lamb's wool. It was very cute. That's that ball band. And it looks like, how many yards are in here? 122 yards of this, and he got me 2. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to make. I haven't decided. I am just really excited to knit with that. I generally knit with super soft, superwash merino, you know, the standard very soft yarn. So it is going to be exciting to knit with a bit of a more rustic yarn. And then he also got me some Lopi, obviously, because you have to. So he got 2 different weights of Lopi. So this one is the lace weight, and it's this beautiful eggplanty purple color. So this one's the lace weight. How many yards are here? 273 yards, and he got me 2 of these as well. So I kind of like these 2 colors together. I may do some sort of project with both. I don't knit a whole lot with lace weight yarn, so that's also exciting. I think that'll be really fun. But yeah, the feel of it is like, it's very, very cool, very toothy, like rustic wool. So I'm really excited to try that out. And then the last yarn that he got me was the classic bulky Lopi yarn in this wonderful gray. And again, he got me 2 of these as well, which was very, very sweet. There are 109 yards. My mother just texted me. Hi, Mom. 109 yards in this ball. So, and I have 2. So I would say I am set with the Icelandic wool, and I'm really excited to dive in and do something with these. I'm kind of thinking of a nice hat with this yarn, but I do have 2 balls, so I don't know, maybe I'll do something different. I don't know, and I refuse to commit. So the last acquisition I have is also from abroad. This is a very international show today. This is my first skein of a homespun house yarn, and I am so excited. I've been watching Molly's podcast for a very long time. I follow her on Instagram. I've always really admired her yarn. I've just never purchased any yarn. I've never caught an update. So this color is called Bang Bang Remix, and it is the Merino Singles base. And it's kind of a, there you go. That's pretty true to color. It's like an icy blue, very pale icy blue. And then there are some wonderful little speckles in there as well, kind of a reddy pink color. So I'm really excited to try that out. It's such a contrast feeling this superwash merino in comparison to the Icelandic wool, but I'm very excited for this, whatever it will be. I don't know what this is going to be yet either. I will let the yarn speak to me and tell me what it wants to be. So very excited, really excited to catch one of Molly's updates. So yeah, kind of in line with yarn, then I'll talk about some updates to my shop. I have some new colorways to show you. I'll get those out here. One of them is not a new colorway, but it had been out of stock. So it is now back in stock. You've already seen it in the project, but it is the Peter colorway, which is a very tonal blue-gray. So you do get some shocks of very blue into more of a navy. And overall it's a very tonal blue-gray, as I said. So that is available in the shop. And then the next one I'll show you is a new colorway. This is the Lulu colorway, which proves to be quite difficult to photograph. This is pretty true. It's a tan, green, pink. So what color is that? I don't know. But there's lots of different colors in here. So there's kind of a plummy berry color and then a more tan. You even get some hints of green in here as well. This is one of my very favorites. I say that about every skein, but I do really love this. And it's the Lulu colorway, which is my grandmother's nickname. My grandfather used to call my grandmother Lulu, which I love. So this is her colorway. And that is now available. This is the merino singles base, which is all that it's available for now, but if you were interested in a different base, you can definitely send me a message and I would dye it up on a different base. And last one I'll show you is also a new colorway. This is the Janice colorway, which is very fun. It's kind of a two-section guy. So we've got this really great, I'm not good at describing colors, I don't think. I know what I like and I like to see them, but I'm like, I don't know what color this is. We'll go with kind of a plum. And then it's contrasted with a cool side, so this kind of cool gray with a speckling of blues, reds, tans, and also gray, because it's kind of a gray theme as well. So again, it's kind of a two-toned guy. Janice is a jazz singer, so I wanted to kind of demonstrate the more improvisatory nature of the music, along with the overall structure of the music. So jazz kind of has those two aspects, so that's what I was going for here. So this is the 75-25 superwash merino nylon base. So this is great for socks, really any project, but that's a great yarn base. I love that yarn base. You can use it for so many different things. But again, if you were interested in a different base, definitely send me a message and we can strike up a deal. So that is kind of that in terms of my crafting adventures. I'll kind of bring you up to speed on my ever so exciting life. My husband is back from Iceland, obviously. That's how I got the Icelandic yarn. So we have been enjoying just kind of hanging out mostly, just enjoying time together, which is nice. Our anniversary is tomorrow, which will probably be the day that I upload. So our anniversary is today. So we're gonna go out to dinner, and there's a new restaurant in town that we want to try that kind of offers things for both of us. So my husband is a meat eater and I am not, so that kind of limits our restaurant choices sometimes. I mean, he likes veggie food as well, so generally I get accommodated more than he does. But this restaurant has both, so we're excited. We're gonna go there tomorrow after I get off work and kind of just hang out and reconnect, so that will be nice. While he was away, I went to a friend's wedding, which was so beautiful. I love weddings. I did my friend's makeup for the day, so that was really fun. I I like doing other people's makeup. I like doing my own makeup too. So it was kind of a fun experience getting ready with her for the day and kind of just getting to feel a little bit kind of as a part of the day, which was cool. The wedding was a really large wedding. The wedding itself, the ceremony was very large, had a lot of people, and then she did a cookie reception that everyone was invited to, and then did a smaller reception after that. So that that was a cool way of doing things, kind of getting to speak to all of the people who may not want to go to a reception. You know, you have acquaintances that, you know, your grandmother's friend who you haven't seen in 20 years may want to be invited to the wedding. And that's a nice way of having her come to the wedding and then getting to speak to them in the cookie reception and then getting to really celebrate at the reception with your very close friends and family. So I really thought that was a cool way of doing things and had a really nice time at her wedding. Got to reconnect with some friends that I hadn't seen in a really long time. So that was really nice. Yeah, that kind of brings me to the end of my story here. So I'd like to thank you for watching today, and again encourage you to join the Ravelry group or connect with me on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. I love making new yarn friends. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. And again, I upload every 2 weeks. So I will see you in a bit. Bye. Dimitri, you're on my side, bro.